Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As we are here, hold on, let's switch that to that. As we are here to talk about tonight's AEW New Year's Smash Night 1 and NXT New Year's Evil. Now, I'm going to say it right off the bat. I thought both shows were really good. Now, here's the thing. And I'll go in more detail to talk about each show. But I thought that overall, as a show, NXT was the better overall show. But as far as an end to the show, AEW had the more superior end of tonight's festivities, I guess you could say. That whole Bullet Club thing at the end, the invasion, what are the Bucks really doing? That was more intriguing than, Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor had an amazing match. I'm not taking anything away from that. They had a great match. But then it just ends with Finn making goofy faces at Kyle sitting in the corner hurt. Which, I'm going to say right now, been told Kyle O'Reilly may actually be hurt. But I digress. Overall, I thought that NXT was the better show overall. But as far as how the shows ended and what show had a bigger, holy crap moment, that would have to go to AEW. Because, yes, we expected, and I'll talk about this more in a minute, it wasn't a shocker that the Good Brothers came out. No. But it was a shocker that the Young Bucks actually put up the Too Sweet. So we'll get into it. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited. YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either give us a donation here on Twitch by hitting that button description down below or with some Twitch bits. Also, you can subscribe to the channel one of two ways. You can subscribe either with a tiered subscription here on Twitch or with Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. With Prime Gaming, you get one free subscription to any Twitch channel that you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and we would greatly appreciate it if that Twitch subscription did go to us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, I am fixing something. Twitch really fast, guys. Give me one moment. For some reason, Twitch doesn't want to show me any of our stats right now. But I can fix that really quickly. There we go. That's better. All right. We are good to go. Also, remember, if you are watching on YouTube, you can support us as well by giving us a super chat donation, and all super chat donations do get read live on the air if they do get submitted. Also, if you want to be part of the show and don't want to donate or anything like that, and we appreciate just you watching, but if you want to be part of the show as well, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that is 510-906-1341. The number is in the live chat and right there eventually rolling through. But with that, we've got AEW, we've got NXT. Let's start by talking AEW. AEW New Year's Smash Night 1. What did you guys think of New Year's Smash? What do you think of tonight's AEW? I want to know your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the live chat. I see guys saying that AEW brought it. Full Bullet Club reunion, says Lucy and Hicks. Right, get this poll going. See what you guys thought once this poll does subside. But let's kick it off. So, AEW started it off with the, what was this, 8-man tag? Yeah, 8-man tag. The Young Bucks and SCU taking on the Acclaimed and TH2. This is a very fun, action-packed opener. Great way to open the show. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. I was going to say something in regards to NXT as well, but I'll just say, great way to open the show. Daniels took a shot at Caster early, leading to a free-for-all brawl. 3/4 of the babyface team landed dives as Kazarian and Bowens were the only men left in the ring. The Bucks went through a long sequence with TH2, and it concluded with a flipping senton dive from Nick. Daniels went for let me read that again. Daniels went for an Arabian moonsault, but was caught, allowing the Acclaimed to gain control. At one point, Matt Jackson tagged in and landed a double suplex on Evans and Bowens. He took out all 4 opponents with dives and spears before feigning a dropkick. No, a moonsault, instead of diving onto Caster and Angelico on the outside. Risky business from the Bucks on Bowens at one point, got a 2. This was followed up by Kazarian hitting a slingshot DDT for a 2 of his own. Kazarian and Nick then hit the BTE trigger, but Evans broke up the pin. TH2 hit a backbreaker combination, but Nick got his knees up on Evans' 630 attempt. At one point, the Bucks went for a super kick and the Meltzer driver. Nick stumbled on the ropes, but made it up for the dive to the outside before Matt and Daniels worked together for a best Meltzer ever, a BME, to finish off the match. Kazarian would then grab the mic after the match and discussed his ultimatum with Daniels. SCU then challenged the Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championships, and the Bucks appeared to accept. They didn't quite full out come and say, "We accept." They appeared to have accepted. Now, if you don't remember, basically Daniels and Kazarian are doing a thing where once they lose as a tag team, done as a tag team. Next up, we got the return of Jon Moxley, who cut a fiery promo tonight. Moxley said that complaining about his loss is a waste of time because life isn't fair. All you can do is endure, grit your teeth, and take it on the chin. Stare down the adversity and then break it down. Kenny said, Moxley said, quote, "What do you do with Kenny Omega?" Moxley says he sees things in black and white and doesn't have time for shitty people, and he'd like to beat them up. Moxley would call himself the boogeyman, saying that he's here ready to come after anybody and come after that AEW World title. He said tonight is Rey Fenix's opportunity. He's been scratching and clawing for 13 years to reach this point. Moxley said Omega isn't safe and never will be safe. Moxley will forever be in Omega's blind spot. One day, Omega will look in the eyes of the devil and beg for mercy when he realizes that he crossed the wrong guy. Threw down the mic. There you go. Going forward, we had Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy being interviewed by Dasha. She asked about Trent, and they said, unfortunately, Trent does have a torn pec and will be out for 4 to 5 months. Then Miro cut a great promo. Miro, Sabian, and Ford came up, and Miro said that, oh, that sucks for Trent, but it sucks even, and this was a shot at WWE, 100%, because he said, oh, it also sucks for you, Chuck, because that means, well, you're going to be on the shelf too, because if your partner's on the shelf, then you have to be on the shelf. Fucking shot at WWE, because that's what they do. 99% of the time, when one person gets injured in a tag team, the other guy gets put on the shelf as well. And I say 99% of the time because they're actually doing something with Jey Uso while Jimmy's injured. And they're kind of doing something with Erica the Viking Raiders while Ivar's out. I mean, chasing the 24/7 title, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Anyways. Where was I? Miro said that Trent is the leader of the group and they all just follow him. He says Chuck is even a step behind little Orange Cassidy here. Taylor responded by challenging Miro to a match next week, which the weird thing was, 2 weeks ago, we knew that this match was happening, and I'm going to look something up really fast. I think it was 2 weeks ago. We knew that this match was already happening on night 2. But then they made it tonight. Seemed like we didn't know that. But give me 2 seconds to check something here. So yeah, a couple of weeks ago, it was announced Trent versus Miro, or Chucky T versus Miro. So we already kind of knew about this match. Anyways. Miro said, okay, but if I win, you have to be my young boy until the wedding. Taylor said, anything. I don't care. Whatever. I'll be your young boy. I'll do whatever if you say to get you off my back. So ahead of the next match, a video played where Wardlow talked about his issues with Jake Hager. Wardlow had been absent because of some family issues, but the Inner Circle is his family too. He's capable of taking care of both families, and tonight, he's going to give Hager a war. So next up, we had Wardlow versus Jake Hager. The rest of the Inner Circle looked on from the stage as Jericho was on commentary. They had a strong lockup to start the match, but neither man could take the advantage until Wardlow achieved a takedown. Hager got one of his own and beat Wardlow down in the corner with strikes. They collided in the center of the ring with simultaneous clotheslines before leading into a shoulder tackle battle. Yeah, that 5 times fast, shoulder tackle battle. Yeah, shoulder tackle battle. Anyways, Wardlow clotheslined Hager to the outside, then traded right hands before simultaneously clotheslining each other in a double down spot as we went to the break. After the break, Wardlow used some athleticism to attack Hager in the corner before hitting a series of release suplexes for a 2. Hager escaped an F10 attempt and hit a series of lariats. An overhead suplex followed for a 2. Wardlow countered the Vader bomb, but Hager was able to lock in an ankle lock, and Wardlow kicked his way out and tackled Hager out of the ring. They both flew into the barricade. Back in the ring, Wardlow landed another series of suplexes, which concluded with the German for a 2. At one point, Hager locked on a head and arm choke. Wardlow got one of his feet on the ropes to break it. They fought on the second rope for a while. Hager applied a head and arm choke again, but Wardlow, this is a weird one. I don't know if it was actually Wardlow slipped off of the top rope to break the hold, or he pushed Hager, and that's what broke the hold. But either way, Hager fell off the top, little middle rope, and Wardlow ended up on the apron. Where was I? We then saw a F10 from Wardlow onto Hager, which that was the finish. Wardlow actually beat Jake Hager. They got to see something in Wardlow to have him go over Jake Hager, because they've made Jake Hager look strong since they started. So, I'm going to say right now, they see something in Wardlow that they like. After the match, Hager was extremely frustrated, but the rest of the Inner Circle got them to a fist bump and show some respect to one another. In the back, Matt Hardy was playing a manager to Private Party. Snoop Dogg would arrive with some juice as they had the gin. Matt Hardy showed up with contracts for Private Party. The implications were that Hardy would take a large cut of their earnings, so he would take a large cut of their earnings to be their mentor, but would still allow them to do third-party things like Twitch, Cameo, and others. We're fucking shots at WWE. Next up, we had Darby Allin and Brian Cage in a weigh-in. And is there really much I need to say about this? This was how do I explain this? An unneeded segment. There was nothing good about this at all. It was just for them to say, look, Cage weighs 272 pounds, and Darby's only 170. And then Taz would go, oh, he's only 170 because all that leather and chains and metal he's wearing. He doesn't really weigh 170. He's even smaller. And I was like, why is this needed? Just to get Sting on the show? Because they said Sting would appear in some capacity, and this is where we saw Sting. Darby Allin said this feud has been gone on long enough. It's actually been going on for 27 years. Because he's dealt with shit people like Taz for a long time. And when he said shit, they tried to bleep it or whatever, and they bleeped it late. He said he's ready to fight, and when he says that, the lights would go out. Then it would start to snow, and Sting would appear. Team Taz retreated to the stage, but Taz promised that next week we would see a new TNT champion. Also, Darby debuted a new title. Hold on. I have to do it. So Darby debuts a new title. They said that the title that what's his name? So the old title was quote unquote retired for Brody Lee, right? Give me 2 seconds to pull this up. Because this is bullshit. They say that the old title's retired for Brody, and they were this and that and blah, 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 right? Well, let's see. Got both belts here, and I'm going to pull both images up here in just one quick second. We've got, here we go. I'm going to do this the easiest way possible. I don't want to overcomplicate this, even though it's already been overcomplicated. Anyways, so share my screen. Open up both images. All right. So I'm going to show you guys what I see. It'll work. For some reason, it's not wanting to work. Come on. There you go. Now it wants to work. All right. So this right here was the original TNT title. Gold. We got the silver. We got the red on the little banner here. Right? Right? That's the original TNT title. Here's the new TNT title. Zoom in on that a little. Really? It's just on a black strap. When you say we're going to retire the design in the memory of Brody, they didn't. All they did was change the color of the strap. Now, I know I could be bitching for no reason here, and everyone's going to say, no, the red title is Brody's title, blah, 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 blah. They should know. Tony Khan said, we are retiring this current design. Which means the title should not look the same at all. At all. But no. They just go and they put it on a GD black strap. That's all. Like, really? That's all you're going to do for Mr. Brody Lee? I mean, right here. Come on. I want it. Show me. It won't switch now, but it's the same freaking belt. And I don't understand how this is, quote unquote, retiring the design for Brody. It's just, it's not. It's the same thing on a different color strap. Anyways, backstage, Hager was punching a garage door out of frustration when none other than MJF would come up to be the voice of reason. Yeah, you heard me right, MJF. Told Hager, hey, you're a great competitor. Yeah, you got beat tonight, but keep your head up. You're still undefeated in the octagon. You're still an undefeated MMA fighter. Hager said he was about to lay MJF out when he walked in, but instead said that MJF, pretty cool. And he appreciated the comments on, him trying to calm him down. So I'm just like, what the hell? MJF going soft on us now? Anyway. He then aired a clip of Brody Jr., -1, basically calling Marco Stunt short from AEW Dark. Alex Marvez will then interview Jurassic Express. Basically, Marco stated that big things are coming in 2021, and then FTR would interrupt. They made fun of Marco, and then Marco said, you know what? How about this? Luchasaurus, I'm taking your spot next week. Me and Jungle Boy against FTR. And they were like, okay, you loser. Top guy's out. So next up, we had Cody versus Matt Seidel. Why is my... There we go. Alexa was starting to go off. I didn't want it to start talking again like normal. Anyways, during Cody's entrance, they played a remix version of his song with Snoop Dogg rapping over it. Snoop is Cody's coach for the upcoming... Snoop is Cody's coach, apparently, is what they stated, for the Go Big show, which I don't understand what that means, because it looks like they're all just judges. So I don't know. It basically, Go Big show, I'm going to say it right here, and people may get mad, because can't knock anything Cody does, but Go Big show is nothing more than an America's Got Talent knockoff. Gonna say it. That's all it is. Cody took on Matt Seidel. Seidel landed a high kick early, but kind of whiffed on a springboard arm drag attempt. He followed it up with a diving Meteora on the ramp, but hurt his knee in the process. Cody took advantage with his drop-down right hand, or should I say, Dustin's drop-down right hand, but Seidel landed a diving dropkick on the outside. After a commercial break, Cody landed an inverted vertical suplex from the second rope, but only got a 2 off of it. Seidel avoided a moonsault attempt and hit a rising knee strike. He went for the shooting star press, but Cody got his knees up and reversed it into a DDT for a near fall. Cody tried to keep up the offense, but Seidel reversed some of it into a Cobra Clutch attempt. They traded knee strikes until Cody clotheslined Seidel to the floor. He got back in the ring, and Cody hit a disaster kick. Seidel fought out of Din's fire and hit a Hurricane Rana cradle for a close near fall as Snoop Dogg watched on from the ramp. A roundhouse kick followed by the lightning spiral, and Seidel got another close near fall. Cody then avoided a knee strike and hit 2 crossroads to pick up the victory. So Cody beats Seidel, and then they're just buds because Luther, for some odd reason, Luther and Serpentico, Chaos Project, attack Cody after the match. Why? We don't fucking know. No explanation was given, but Seidel makes the save. Gets rid of Luther. He tried to go over the top rope, but Snoop waved him off. Snoop then, in the worst splash, Snoop climbs to the top rope and goes for a splash and hits the worst splash ever. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. Well, Snoop ain't a trained wrestler. Give him some slack. Fuck it. If they were going to do this, they should have made sure that it was at least going to look halfway decent. But this was bad. Very bad. I thought Snoop was going to kill himself because he was barely even able to stand on the top rope. Jericho's making fun of him, saying he looks like a string being up there. He's going to fall. He's going to hurt himself. And yeah, Snoop Dogg splashes Serpentico. Whatever. Not a good look. AEW over here saying, let's put Snoop Dogg in the ring and let him do an actual high-flying move. No. Next up, we got the AEW Women's Championship match, Scheeter versus Abaddon. I'm going to say it right now. This match blew chunks and sucked. Hated it. There was not one part of this match that I can get into whatsoever. At all. None of it. From the start, I was just like, Lord, this is crap. So, remember when Cody said we want to be all sports-centric? We don't need the sports entertainment side of things? This fucking was. This is all about story and sports entertainment and not sport at all. So Scheeter comes out after Abaddon already made her entrance, and Abaddon attacks her on the ramp. Scheeter downed her with the kendo stick shot. Match hadn't started yet, so this was all fair and good. Frickin' Abaddon takes an unprotected kendo stick shot right to the top of the head. Falls down. Scheeter gets in the ring. And what happens? Oh my God, Abaddon just sat right up like nothing. And I'm like, what? Like nothing. So she's the Undertaker. So they both get into the ring. As soon as they are in the ring together, the ref calls for the bell. Match starts. And it quickly falls to the outside. She took control with a running drop kick before removing a scarf she had on, covering up her, I guess you could say, bite marks. Abaddon attacked her, and Scheeter then went for a knee lift, but Abaddon caught it and bit Sheeta's leg before diving her into the barricade. Abaddon would then drag Scheeter under the ring. And they're under the ring. Referee, I think, was Bryce Remsburg. He climbs under the ring as well. He slides out. Abaddon slides out. Blood coming all out of her mouth. And then Scheeter comes out with blood all over her neck again. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? A bloody Scheeter would emerge. Been bitten again. No idea why they're saying a DQ. Like, I get it. She didn't use a weapon or anything. But fuck. So stupid. They get back into the ring. They start fighting or whatever. Abaddon hits an X Factor off the second rope. Gets 2 off of it. She continues beating down the champion. She just sent Abaddon to the outside and landed a frog splash crossbody off onto the floor. She repeatedly smashed Abaddon's head into the barricade before bringing Abaddon onto the ropes and hitting a superplex. Abaddon bridged up like Bray Wyatt and landed a clothesline for a 2. Then, basically, a cradle allowed Scheeter to hit a Tomoishi knee and pick up the victory, just out of nowhere. Not only was the match crap, but then it just abruptly finished, doom, boom, done. Like, what? Bull crap. This is horrible. I hated this match. Number of things were announced for next week, though. TNT title will be on the line when Darby Allin defends against Brian Cage. NWA Women's World Championship will be on the line when Serena Deeb defends against Ty Conti, and they stated that Ty Conti will have the Dark Order in her corner. Miro takes on Chuck Taylor. FTR takes on Jurassic Express's Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt. Pac will go one-on-one with Eddie Kingston. The Inner Circle will share their New Year's resolutions. Britt Baker will debut The Waiting Room on television with her guest Cody Rhodes. This waiting room stuff's been horrible. And in an announcement that didn't make sense at first, they said Kenny Omega and the Elite will be in action next week. And my first thought was, Kenny gonna team with the Bucks next week? What, huh? But then as the show rolled on, we know, well, they're all in, what's the word I'm looking for? In cahoots, compatico, whatever that word is. In cahoots. I'm gonna say they're all friendly-ish, I guess. So Phoenix makes his way out to the ring, and Pat cuts a promo for him, saying that cuts a promo for him. He says, "We are the Death Triangle." He says, "Ray Phoenix will be your next world champion. Kenny Omega's belt collection is done." We had a heck of a match. Like, a hell of a match, as we all expected. Omega tried to overpower Phoenix early with some chain wrestling. Pace quickened with a spike Hurricane Rana from Omega. He called for the Terminator dive, but Phoenix ran back in and landed a Hurricane Rana of his own and feigned a dive. Phoenix kicked Omega to the floor and landed a Hurricane Rana. Back in the ring, Omega hit a swinging DDT. Phoenix popped up and hit a dropkick, though. He went for a springboard, and Omega chopped him down and continued beating him down on the floor. Phoenix was sent over the barricade and hit a Gamangiri before going for a rolling cutter, but Omega countered it into a Snapdragon suplex. Omega would then hit a Kataru Crusher for a 2 back in the ring. Phoenix fought back with overhead chops, leading to a chop exchange. It was an incredible spot where Phoenix went to the top rope and was knocked down and somehow recovered enough to hit the move he intended. Phoenix then followed it up with an absurd tope suicida where he almost landed in the front row, almost went over the damn barricade. Omega went for the "you can't escape," but Phoenix fought out and flipped over into a German suplex for a close near fall. He had another chop exchange, this time seated in the middle of the ring. Omega once again took control with his superior power and toyed with the idea of taking off Phoenix's mask. Phoenix fired up from this, though, and hit some strikes and a thrust kick. Omega avoided a hook kick and landed a V-trigger, but Phoenix bounced right back into a heel hook, landing a double down. Phoenix went for a tornado dive, but Omega countered into what was, I think they called it like a rising knee. He then hit a powerbomb for a 2. Omega hit a V-trigger and followed that up for a close near fall with another V-trigger. He then set up for the one-winged angel, but Phoenix saw it coming and countered the one-winged angel into a poison Rana, spiking Kenny on the top of his head. Kenny got his wits about him when Don Callis distracted Phoenix. Distracted him enough to where when Phoenix went to dive back into the ring, Omega was on his feet and in mid-air took out Phoenix with the V-trigger knee. Omega would then go for the J-Driller, the V-trigger, and got a 2. He then went for the one-winged angel, and, well, nobody kicks out of the one-winged angel. Got a 3 off of it. Here's the thing. Kenny Omega's been wrestling. Well, I don't know. He's been wrestling for a long time. I don't know how long he's been actually doing the V-trigger or the one-winged angel, but for somebody to have a move that you used in multiple companies and have it this long be just never kicked out of. I know he did the V-trigger in DDT. He did it in New Japan. Now he does it in AEW. And when they say nobody's ever kicked out of the V-trigger, or I keep saying V-trigger, the one-winged angel, that's not just, nobody in AEW has ever kicked out of the one-winged angel. Nobody ever has kicked out of the one-winged angel when they've been... No one's ever kicked out of the one... I got to preface this. No one's ever kicked out of the one-winged angel with Omega doing it. I think Jericho tried it on Omega once and Omega kicked out, something like that. I know people have tried it before on Omega and he's kicked out, but no one's ever kicked out when Omega does it to them. After the match, Don Callis grabbed the microphone and said that he heard that something terrible was happening backstage. Take a look. And we see Eddie Kingston and his family attacking Pac and Pentagon. Callis said that they weren't coming to help Phoenix. And that Omega said that he was going to not only defeat Phoenix, but take his career when Moxley would come down with the barbed wire bat. He swung it at the stomach of Omega to make the save. But Omega was not here alone tonight. Out would come the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, the Impact Tag Team Champions. Good Brothers would come out and make the save for Omega. They laid out Moxley with a magic killer for Omega repeatedly hit Moxley with the barbed wire bat. Geeks from the front row started running in, trying to make the save on Moxley like the Varsity Blondes and others. They were all dispatched with ease by Omega, Gallows, and Anderson. At one point, we even saw Gallows powerbomb Serpentico through the ringside physician's table, or whatever that ringside table is called that they use. Omega would hit Moxley with the barbed wire bat one more time. Moxley made one last attempt at a comeback, but was overwhelmed with the numbers advantage. Then, the Young Bucks would appear. The Bucks would run into the ring and seemingly seem like they were yelling at Kenny and the Good Brothers about, what the hell are you doing? What is all this? The Varsity Blondes would then grab Omega, and basically, they've got Omega up on the ropes. He's kind of like tied up. I think it was Gallows knocks, which one was it? He knocked down, I think it was Brian Pillman Jr. It doesn't really matter. He knocked down Brian Pillman Jr., and then Matt Jackson super kicks Griff Garrison. And you go, oh no, what just happened? Omega then stands in the middle of the ring, throws up the too sweet. Gallows throws up the too sweet. Anderson throws up the too sweet. They stand there and they wait and they wait and they wait. Nick Jackson walks over. Got that look on his face like, should I do it? Should I do it? His arm slowly starts to go up. Matt walks over, pissed off as hell. His arm starts to go up. Whoop, whoop. They all five do the too sweet as the show goes off the air. The show goes off the air with all five former Bullet Club members too sweet in the middle of the ring. And I don't remember exactly what Jericho said, but he goes, there's that hand symbol. There's that hand symbol they used to do in Japan. He's like, I don't know if I could say too sweet, so I'm just going to say that hand symbol. And then Pro Wrestling Tees immediately puts up a tweet saying, hey, don't forget we have that cease and desist t-shirt. But yeah. And the show ends with a too sweet from the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega, the AEW Tag Team Champions Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, and the Impact Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. Where is this leading to? I don't know, but I'm very intrigued because here's the thing. I expected Gallows and Anderson to show up, if not tonight, then maybe next week or sometime soon before Hard to Kill. Or maybe right after Hard to Kill, sometime in the next couple of weeks. But then I was messaging with a friend. I go, so when do the Bucks come out and say, Kenny, stop all of this? I didn't expect the Bucks to come out and pop up the too sweet Good Brother. I didn't expect that at all. So that was a great shock ending for me. Because, yes, I expected Gallows and Anderson to come out. I expected after Gallows and Anderson came out that the Young Bucks would come out, but try to be the voice of a reason, not possibly join. And if you looked at Matt and Nick's face, yes, they put up that too sweet. Yes, they looked mad, but they also looked confused. They also looked perplexed. They also looked like, I know this is what we kind of want to do, but is this morally what we should do? What the heck? So it's leaving a lot of questions unanswered, which is good. And now, rewind, when they announced Kenny Omega will be teaming with the Elite next week in action, now it almost makes a little more sense because it's like, okay, we're supposed to believe they are all on the same page. They're not Kenny the heel, the Bucks the baby faces. Maybe they're all heels. We don't know. But see where it leads to. The BFG podcast in the chat says, you can tell Marty is coming soon. No. I'm going to drop a little news ski here for you, BFG podcast. Marty Scurll, he's going to WWE, good brother. I mean, I'm just going to say right now, he's been to the Capitol Wrestling Center, from what I've been told. He's been to the WWE Performance Center. And there is major interest for WWE to bring in Marty Scurll. Just going to say it right now, there is. And it's very likely coming soon. I mean, it was just announced this week, Marty Scurll no longer with Ring of Honor. So, just say it right now, he's been to the CWC, he's been to the PC. But with that, we'll check what you guys thought of tonight's Dynamite. 86% of you said that you liked it, and 14% said it was all right, but nobody disliked it, so that's good to see. Throw up a poll for NXT to see what you guys thought of tonight's NXT. Manage new poll. What did you think of tonight's NXT? It was right. Didn't. All right, we'll run that poll. See what you guys thought of NXT. All right, so NXT started off with Karrion Kross taking on one Damian Priest. This match actually went commercial free. We learned earlier in the day that Damian Priest is coming to the main roster, and WWE wants him on SmackDown. So it was inevitable. I'm going to say right now that, well, Kross won. Everybody expected Kross to win. But also, it was even more expected once we heard, hey, there's plans for him to come up like last week that were possibly pushed back. Chase Douglas in the live chat says, do you think Jay White will sign with WWE? Well, brother, if you would have checked our exclusive report yesterday, WWE is very interested in Jay White. Triple H really likes Jay White's work and really wants to sign him. From everything we're hearing, I don't know how many or how extensively WWE has spoken with Jay White, but there is more interest. I'm just going to say, from what I've been told, there's more interest on the side of WWE to sign Jay White than there would be from AEW. Like, WWE will push harder to sign Jay White than I think AEW will. That's just the impression I've been given. But this was a nice, good opening match with two big guys going out there and showing that, hey, we got power, we can use it, we're gonna F each other up. This match, I'm gonna say it right now, could headline any takeover and fit right in on any G1 show. This was a Japan-style, hard-hitting, never open-weight championship match. I'm going to say it right now. So, early on, Damian Priest took a number of shots to the ribs and was selling them for most of the match. At one point, tried to go for the Razor's Edge, and Kross blocked it with a chokeslam. Priest then came back with a springboard flip dive over the top rope to the floor. Priest delivered a south of heaven, but Kross kicked out. Kross cut him off, going back, working on the ribs. The fight went back to the outside, and Priest was slammed onto the ring steps. They squared up again, and Priest told Kross that he was still standing. He's like, I'm still standing, come on. Kross gave him a nice Saito suplex. Kross then went for a knockdown blow to the back of the head, and Kross covered Priest for the pinfall. There was also a spot I forgot to mention where Priest did hit that Razor's Edge at one point, barely, but in the end, the nice, I want to say, I didn't get the times for these shows because it's hard to get the times for two different shows when you're watching them at the same time, but I think this match went a good 10-15 minutes. It was at least a 10-minute match. I know that, I think maybe around 12 minutes or so, but good match nonetheless. I liked this match. I thought this was a good big guy match. Perfect way you're supposed to do a match with two tall, strong, big guys. Like, I don't know if this match could have been much better, if any. We then got some more announcements for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Then the Spirit Air team will be Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. They will be facing off against Breezango next week, We also know that Everrise will be in the tournament next week, taking on the Grizzled Young Veterans. We then have the Cruiserweight Championship on the line as Santos Escobar with Legado del Fantasma defended against Grand Metalik with Lince Dorado. Metalik got to show some great high-flying action here early on. This led to an early Asai moonsault for a near fall. There was a little botch spot, though, before the commercial break. And, someone slipped. I think Metalik slipped off the ropes, and it was like, hey, that's uncharacteristic of him. I don't know what happened there. Anyways. Metalik went for a springboard, tried to do the move again, and Escobar met him with a knee strike in midair. Escobar followed this up with a tope through the ropes. Metalik still kicked out at 2. Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde tried to interfere, and Dorado flew in to make the save. Nonetheless, though, Metalik was tripped up. Escobar a moment later hit the Phantom Driver and picked up the victory to retain their Cruiserweight Championship. We then got a vignette for Mercedes Martinez. Got a promo saying that she is coming after Io Shirai in the NXT Women's Championship. And my first thought was about Toni Storm. Remember when Toni Storm cut that big promo saying that she's coming after Io, and then Io came down to the ring and said, Toni, if you want to fight, come out now? I think Vince is booking this damn show because seemingly in one night they started and stopped a program between Toni Storm and Io Shirai. And then started up another program in that same night with Mercedes Martinez and Io Shirai. Next up, Xia Li took on Katarina Cortez. Complete squash match. Lee had a cool new entrance with a boa and a mysterious figure who's been training them. Cortez wore a lucha-style mask. I think this is the same Katarina that we saw on the main roster for a few weeks last year. Anyways, this is basically a showcase for Xia Li. Lee showcased her kicks, how much of a killer she can be in the ring, before winning with a jumping knee strike and a high kick to get the pinfall. Next up, we had a tremendous last woman standing match, Raquel Gonzalez versus Rhea Ripley. They started this off with what you would expect, a slugfest. Gonzalez talked some trash. Basically, she said, you're gullible. I worked you all this time. I always was just what I did to get in your good graces and whatnot. Basically, she was telling Rhea that we were never friends. They brawled on the floor, and handcuffs came into play. Ripley would handcuff Gonzalez under the chain link fence, but Gonzalez would literally just rip the chain link apart. With the handcuff on and the chain link on the other end of the handcuff, she took the chain link and was just scratching it and smacking it across the back of Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley got her ass beat in this match. I'm going to say it right now. Ripley at one point tried to use the hammer from the ring bell, and Gonzalez blocked it and smacked Ripley face first into the ring bell. There was another spot where Ripley got backdropped onto the announce desk, and the table broke. So Gonzalez piled the announce desk, debris, and chairs on top of her, hoping that she couldn't get up. Nonetheless, Ripley did get up. The match went through a commercial, and then at one point, we saw Snoop Dogg on both AEW and NXT at the same time because he was in a Corona commercial while also in Cody's corner. I thought that was pretty funny. Ripley was booted off the stage after the commercial break. Gonzalez berated her, and Ripley fought back. They went through a glass door, and it shattered. The two were fighting in a little back corridor, and Ripley did a swanton bomb to put Gonzalez through a table. Suddenly, Dakota Kai would run in with a kendo stick and attack Rhea Ripley, and she was just laying in these kendo stick shots over and over and harder and harder and harder until finally Ripley kicked her, beat her down, shove her into a locker, and then put a production crate in front of it so she couldn't get out of the locker. I thought that was a clever spot. So Gonzalez had disappeared here. Ripley goes on the chase. They're back at the top of the ramp. At one point, there was a stunt where Ripley threw Gonzalez into the top of the stage, to one of the screens, and it glitched. Ripley and Gonzalez then seemingly tried to recreate the infamous bump with Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle, and Gonzalez suplexed Ripley into the video board like I stated. They concluded the stunt when Gonzalez chokeslammed Ripley through a gimmicked section of the stage. They both fell through this part of the stage. The referee's like, I guess I got to count you both. So he starts to count. And as he's doing so, Gonzalez would get to her feet at 9. No, but 8 or 9. Rhea never moved. Well, there you go. Gonzalez wins. Rhea Ripley takes the loss. So then we get a commercial break where they're still doing the picture-in-picture. And this is weird because they're showing the trainers coming and checking on Rhea, getting her out of this little pit and helping her out. But then it kept cutting to the way getting a police escort to the building. And then it would show Rhea getting medical treatment. And then it would cut back to the way showing up. And then it would cut back to Rhea getting medical treatment. And then we come back from break and it's the Garganos and the way coming into the building with their motorcade. Very weird the way they did that during the break. But Gargano was celebrating in the ring. He said, the curse is broken. He said, just like the Cleveland Browns who hadn't made it to the playoffs in like 18 years, the curse is broken. Thank you, Baker Mayfield. Gargano said, or LeRae said she had something for her husband. It was a plaque to represent him breaking the curse. They also unveiled a picture they suddenly drew of the stable. Gargano announced that Theory and they'd be a team in the Dusty Classic. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Shotzi would then appear in her tank. Theory went to confront her, but she shot him in the groin. Blackheart then went to attack LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Blackheart cleared the ring, and Kushida would come out to have her back against Gargano. Dexter Lumis then would arise out of nowhere with the ring bell and go, ding, ding, ding. And they're like, why do you ring the bell? What's going on? And then he points, and we see on the screen, he just made a tag team match, playa. It's Kushida and Shotzi Blackheart against Johnny and Candice. And that's what we had here. Match is all right. Johnny and Candice had to wrestle in their street clothes. Kushida was kind of mostly in street clothes as well. Shotzi wrestles in whatever anyways. Match went through a commercial break, and LeRae got some heat on Blackheart. Kushida got a hot tag and ran wild. Created submission holds, he and Gargano, and all four did some combo spots. Kushida knocked Gargano off the apron, and he held the ropes so Blackheart could go for the dive on LeRae. Theory interfered and tripped Kushida, and Theory paid for it, though, as Kushida went for the pin on Gargano. So with that, I didn't write the finish of this match, but Gargano and Candice do pick up the victory. Johnny and Candice do win, but for some reason I didn't write the finish. They would then announce, which is going to suck for me, I'm already busy on freaking Valentine's Day, next TakeOver, February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. So maybe they're going to call it St. Valentine's Day Massacre. I don't know. But it's also the same day as the goddamn Daytona 500. So I got to watch that. Hope that freaking race doesn't go long, and then watch this show. Whew. Crap. I don't even know if I'm going to be home that day. We'll figure it all out, though. Usually, I'm not home for the 500. Go to a friend's house because we set up our fantasy league that day. Anyways. That's my problem, not yours. Let's move on to our main event that also went without commercial. But actually, we had a big announcement. William Regal and Dexter Lumis would announce that for the first time this year, well, not for the first time this year, but the first time ever this year, not only are we getting the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, but we're also getting the Women's Dusty Tag Team Classic. So we're getting a male and a female version of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, but we don't know when the women's version is actually going to start. We then go to our main event. It was Finn Balor defending against Kyle O'Reilly. Again, like I stated, the match went commercial-free. They started with some grappling and some mat work. They traded moves and holds. They build up to an exchange of strikes, and the pace quickened. Excuse me. The intensity began to pick up, and there was a double down spot after O'Reilly landed a PK, but he kind of skidded to the outside of the ring after the kick. O'Reilly would then work an arm, and Balor worked the jaw. O'Reilly went for a leg lock submission and tried to tie up Balor, but Balor escaped by nailing O'Reilly in the jaw. Balor, with a reverse DDT, transitioned into applying a crossface on the injured face, but O'Reilly escaped. O'Reilly was trying to rally back, and Balor stopped his momentum with a sling blade. Balor followed this with a double stomp and a shotgun dropkick. Balor went to the top rope for a coup de grace, and O'Reilly tripped him up. Balor took a superplex and a brainbuster, and then O'Reilly caught him in an armbar. Balor managed to get to the ropes for a break, and Balor somehow cut open he started bleeding, like right around his eyebrow area. I don't know how or where this cut came from, but he was bleeding. He was bleeding not a lot, but it was a good amount. Balor then hit O'Reilly with a kick to the liver. O'Reilly sold it big, and Balor trapped him in a Cobra twist, with O'Reilly soon tapping out. Pick up the victory. Trainers, referees, EMTs, UE came out to check on Kyle as Balor stood in the ring with his belt, and I'm going to say it, I said it earlier, made silly faces at Kyle O'Reilly. So I was told, so NXT sent out a tweet that said, breaking, after the grueling main event, both Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly are on their way to the hospital. Kyle is getting his jaw x-rayed, and Finn is getting his arm checked out. But from what we were told, there is some concern over O'Reilly that he may be hurt. As far as them saying that Finn is also hurt, that's just to sell up the brutality of the match. Finn is supposedly okay, from what I've been told, and that they are concerned about Kyle O'Reilly. But let's check your poll real fast. I don't think I pulled up results. Let me see if I can pull them up here. View poll results. 73% of you liked NXT, and 25% of you said it was all right. No one disliked it. But with that, if I had to say what show was better, this is a tough one. Because like I said earlier, I think NXT had the overall better show, but AEW got me with that finish. AEW got me with that end. So I might have to say, I'm going to say NXT overall, but I loved the end of NXT or AEW. I want to say thank you, a new low pod, for the raid here on Twitch. Really do appreciate that. Now, I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys thought of tonight's shows. You can text in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. It is in the live chat and scrolling right there, bottom of the screen. Got a number of text messages here today. First says, with Priest slated to come up to the main roster on SmackDown specifically and being put in the main event picture right away, do you see him being a babyface or a heel? And do you think Rhea comes up as well? So Rhea's been slated to come up for almost a year now, so I don't know really what to think with her. Maybe, I don't know. As far as Priest, I would assume babyface. Also, Rubiner in the Twitch chat, you keep spamming the same thing, we're gonna put you in a timeout. This person says, how come? Oh, okay. So I don't know anything as far as what people make in WWE other than what was reported in that report from the Mirror. So if you're gonna ask me questions about that, I can't answer any of those. Why this person makes more than this person, I don't know. They got a good agent. First says, what do you think is next for Undisputed Era when Kyle O'Reilly lost to Finn Balor for the second time? Dusty Classic. They're going to focus on that. This person says, who do you think should be the next AEW champion? I'm not even looking that far. Why? Because Kenny's the champ. AEW likes to do long title runs, and they shouldn't be taking that title off of Kenny now anyway. So nobody. Kenny Omega, keep that title for 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 months. First says, the Go Big show, first of all, is a mutation of America's Got Talent and Wipeout. Well, not Wipeout. Wipeout's a 100 times different show. Wipeout has nothing to do with a talent. This is a America's Got Talent ripoff. But anyways, I don't get why you're tweeting me that. Okay. Other person says, do you think Kyle O'Reilly will ever win the NXT title? Eventually, yes. Triple H has stated that he sees O'Reilly as a world title guy. Person says, who takes the title from Hikaru Shida? I say it should be Britt Baker. I mean, maybe. But if you look at their roster, really nobody, in my opinion right now, on the level of Ashita that could be a great world champion for them. Like, yeah, you could say Britt Baker, but does she really have great world title caliber matches? When Sheeta's got the right opponent, she goes out there and kills it. in great matches. Baker, even with the right opponent, still has okay matches. So, this person says, if it's possible, Damian Priest final. If this was possibly Damian Priest's final match in NXT and he joins the main roster, who should his first rivalry be with? And which championship should he go after? Maybe the IC title. Well, from what we heard, they're going to put him straight into the main event picture. So I don't know. The person also says, since we saw the Good Brothers finally appearing on AEW, can we potentially see other future Impact superstars like Rich Swann or the Motor City Machine Guns showing up as well? Very possible, but if I look at a calendar, you can do it next week. You can. Because you've got one more Dynamite before the Hard to Kill pay-per-view. So it's possible that maybe next week Rich Swann or the Machine Guns show up to help build that Hard to Kill pay-per-view. It says, do you see them doing anything with Hook other than just being Taz's son and Team Taz's secondary manager? Well, I don't know, because I don't know how far along in his training he is and if he or they feel like he's good enough yet to actually work matches. So I don't know. I can't say that because I don't know how far along he actually is in his progression and training. And let's see, I already read that text message. And the person says, do you see Jay White and Marty Scurll coming to WWE together? Not together, separately, probably close to the same time. I don't know exactly when Jay White's contract is up. He said he was obligated to only work through New Year's Dash, but I don't think there's any other New Japan shows for the rest of the month, so his contract could expire at the end of the month. But I know Triple H is very high on Jay White, and I know they really like Marty Scurll as well, and Marty Scurll has visited the PC, the CWC. And this person says, if WWE signs White and Scurll, do you see them both being in NXT and put in main event pictures? Well, I don't know where they would be placed as far as in NXT. I know Triple H does want Jay White in NXT. Marty Scurll would benefit from going to NXT first. I don't see him as a quote-unquote big enough name or star to go straight to the main roster. I mean, if Nakamura didn't go straight to the main roster, Marty Scurll isn't going straight to the main roster. But, yeah. I want to say thank you guys for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. We'll be live again on Friday to talk about Friday Night SmackDown. Remember to follow us on social media. Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited. And follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. Also, I want to thank the 500 people that have so far subscribed to our website, pwunlimited.co. Completely free to subscribe. All you got to do is hit that red bell notification or tell your Chrome browser to allow notifications so you guys know when we post new articles and posts up on our website. We've got the website going good right now. We've got about 500 people so far with notifications turned on, and we want to just keep that number growing so we can grow the website bigger than it already is. Thank you for all the support you guys have given us the last 5.5 years now. 2017, 18, 20. Yes, this month marks our 5.5 year mark. You guys have really helped us. I couldn't have done this without you guys. You've helped me grow this channel bigger than I ever expected it to be. And now we're expanding it with the website and so forth. So, again, I want to say thank you guys for all of that, for helping us grow this YouTube channel to what it is so far and what it's going to become, for helping us grow our website for what it is and what it's going to become. With that, have a great, great night. Did I call it a host? A raid? What did I say? A new low pod? I must have said something wrong. I know it's called a raid. We raid people after every one of our podcasts like we're about to do tonight. But thank you guys for joining us. Have a great night. All right. If you're still watching